Welcome to Trending Update USA. I am Steffan, and today we dive deep into a story stirring huge conversation in the tennis world. Serena Williams' former coach Rennae Stubbs has spoken out with strong advice for Iga Swiatek, advice inspired by none other than Coco Gauff. With the WTA Finals pressure building and Swiatek entering the tournament on shaky form, Stubbs believes there's a key mindset shift Swiatek must learn from the young American star if she wants to survive the biggest week of the women's season. No titles, no segments, just a full-flowing breakdown of how the present meets the future, how experience meets youth, and why this narrative could define the WTA Finals. Tennis fans know the WTA Finals is no ordinary tournament. It's a mental battlefield where only the elite eight step onto the court, and only the strongest mentality rises above the pressure cooker atmosphere. This year, the spotlight is shining intensely on Iga Swiatek, former world number 1, multiple-time Grand Slam champion, a player some have crowned the future face of women's tennis. Yet the final few weeks of her season before the finals have raised eyebrows. The clean, unstoppable machine that dominated earlier in the year has shown cracks. Fatigue, emotional strain, and growing pressure appear to be creeping in. Her forehand timing hasn't looked as sharp, her body language at times more tense than usual, and the aura of invincibility she once carried seems slightly dimmer. That's when Rennae Stubbs stepped in with pointed advice, and she didn't look to another veteran star for inspiration. She looked straight at Coco Gauff. According to Stubbs, the biggest lesson Swiatek can take from Gauff right now isn't about technique, footwork, or tactics. It's about mindset. It's about how Gauff has embraced pressure, how she has evolved emotionally, and how she has found peace within the chaos of expectation. Stubbs emphasized that Gauff, still just 20 years old, has learned to smile under fire, to welcome the noise, and to use belief as fuel. The message was clear: Swiatek doesn't need a new forehand technique, she needs the mental posture Gauff has developed. Stubbs noted that Gauff's ability to reset emotionally within matches, to play with joy even when points get tight, has been one of her most dramatic improvements. Swiatek, on the other hand, has sometimes looked as though the weight of each point sits heavy. Stubbs' point wasn't criticism, it was guidance rooted in admiration for both athletes. And that's where this narrative becomes fascinating. Swiatek has been the gold standard of consistency since she burst onto the global stage, a master of discipline and structure. Her game is polished, her routines meticulous, her discipline unmatched. But with that reliability comes expectation, and expectation has a way of becoming heavy. Gauff, meanwhile, has grown through pressure by accepting it, not resisting it. She has leaned into the support she receives, fed off energy, and embraced emotional freedom as part of her arsenal. Stubbs' message highlights that sometimes structure needs space, sometimes intensity needs a smile, and sometimes the toughest mindset is the most relaxed one. Earlier this year, Gauff and Swiatek crossed paths multiple times, and it's impossible to ignore the contrast in their arcs. Swiatek came into the season at the top of the mountain. Gauff was still chasing her foothold after her US Open triumph last year. Yet by the time the tour reached this late stage, the roles felt reversed in terms of emotional momentum. Gauff appears energized, confident, and loose. Swiatek remains dangerous, undeniably elite, but with a subtle tightness that seems new. You watch her serve routine linger a little longer, you see her glance more frequently toward her box, you pick up on the small sighs or clenched jaw moments. It's normal, champions feel pressure too, but it's noticeable. And it's in those details that Stubbs believes the solution lives. To understand this dynamic fully, we look beyond the physical. We look at how Gauff has embraced personal growth, how she has found comfort in vulnerability, how she has turned criticism into motivation rather than tension. She has built a fortress not by closing herself off emotionally, but by opening up and becoming mentally flexible. Stubbs pointed out that Gauff doesn't panic when she's down. She trusts in the long fight. She knows tennis is a test of chapters, not just pages. Swiatek, so used to perfection and dominance, is learning the different emotional rhythm that comes when the target is on your back every week. It's the transition all dominant players face. Serena felt it, Djokovic felt it, Nadal felt it, Federer felt it. Now it's Swiatek's turn. The WTA Finals magnify these inner battles more than any other event outside the slams. The story here is not one of weakness, it's evolution. The great ones don't stay great by being the same. They grow. They adjust. They learn from rivals, from critics, and from their own discomfort. And if Stubbs is right, if Swiatek takes a page from Gauff's book, we could witness a powerful transformation. Imagine Swiatek combining her tactical precision and discipline with a looser, joyful, resilient inner confidence. Imagine a Swiatek who breathes through pressure rather than braces against it. That's a version of her few players could match. Meanwhile, Coco Gauff deserves credit, massive credit. Her development has been extraordinary. Her mental maturity exceeds her age. She has learned the value of perspective, gratitude, and calm belief, even in the midst of massive expectations to be the next American superstar. The tennis world remembers her as the 15-year-old sensation who stunned Venus Williams. But the Gauff we see today isn't just a prodigy. She is a professional who understands balance, who embraces support systems, who trusts the process. That mindset puts fuel in her legs, confidence in her strokes, and stability in her presence. Coaches, legends, analysts, and fellow players see it, and Stubbs simply put into words what many have noticed. As we move into the WTA Finals, the storylines are thicker than ever. Swiatek wants to prove she's still the most complete player on tour. Gauff wants to continue her evolution and stamp her mark on the elite stage. Their rivalry isn't bitter, it's inspiring, competitive, and rich with mutual respect. But in sports, admiration doesn't soften ambition. Gauff wants to win. Swiatek wants to dominate. And Stubbs' comments poured gasoline on the mental fire that already burns between these great athletes. Tennis thrives not just on forehands and backhands, but on emotional arcs, psychological duels, and growth moments. This one has all of that and more. Fans around the world are watching eagerly. Will Swiatek recharge mentally, find her breathing room, and rediscover the looseness that allows her brilliance to shine? Will Gauff step onto the final stage with the same energy that has propelled her upward all year? Pressure can break an athlete or make them legendary. And right now, we are watching two players carving out their identities in real time. Some matches are won before a ball is struck, not because of fear, but because of emotional command. Gauff has been mastering that command. Stubbs believes Swiatek can too, if she lets go enough to breathe and trust. The beauty of this moment in tennis is that the torch isn't passing, it is expanding. The game is not waiting for Serena's shadow to fade. New forces are rising while still learning from the giants that came before. And when a coach with a resume like Stubbs speaks, you listen, not because she's critiquing, but because she's guiding. Her words come from the vantage point of someone who has seen what mental strength looks like in its purest form. She stood beside Serena Williams, a player who turned pressure into purpose better than anyone. If she sees in Gauff a spark of that emotional resilience, and if she sees in Swiatek the need to tap into that same energy, then this moment matters. As viewers, we aren't just watching matches, we're watching athletes become who they will be remembered as. Swiatek's next chapter begins not with her racket, but her mindset. Gauff's journey continues as she polishes not just her skills, but her soul. The finals will tell us which lessons sink in, which growth paths accelerate, and which star stands tallest when lights burn brightest. And so as we gear up for the biggest showdown of the WTA season, remember this: tennis is more than sport. It's psychology, it's endurance, it's identity. Swiatek's fire is still there. Gauff's flame is rising. And thanks to voices like Rennae Stubbs, the conversation around mindset in tennis has never been louder or more important. The world is ready. The players are ready. The storylines are electric. And if Swiatek truly absorbs what Gauff has demonstrated, joy under pressure, trust in chaos, belief without strain, then this WTA Finals may not just define a champion. It may redefine a champion's spirit. This is Trending Update USA. I am Steffan. Stay locked in as we continue following the mental chess, athletic brilliance, and emotional evolution shaping the WTA's brightest stars. The finals await. The pressure is here. and the champions are writing their legacy one mindset at a time.